got a good tippers in there, and his Annie is just unbelievably good. These rush initiation support, especially if you get deft on Sivir, and talk about players, we'll talk about that in a second, but he was just able to get in there, start up all the team fights he wanted. He always wanted to be that one at the front, and he's just on point with those flash tippers, able to always get in there. Couple that with the fact that deft builds very smart items, is willing to cede certain parts of the laning phase and fall behind, while still being a massive team fighting threat. He is turned from someone that we often used to criticize about his laning phase and not being able to get enough done there, to really being able to carry at multiple stages of the game. And going toe-to-toe with Uzi is no easy task. Uzi is known for making you work for every single piece of CS in that lane, and Deft did it in a counter matchup with relative ease.
Yeah, we saw in that laning phase as well, there was a lot of incredible play coming through from low as well with those Eye of the Storms. There is nothing to be said negatively about this bottom lane for OMG. They are definitely playing well, but it was just Deft being more useful in the teamfight phase and managed to pick up a whole lot of kills for it, to the point where there was nothing that OMG could do.
Yeah, and that seems to be the story. Deft was more useful. Koro was more useful. So in the end, what that meant was EDG, they walked away with a 29-minute surrender, and we'll see if something similar happens here. We're seeing very similar bans come through from both teams.
Yeah, and it's just mirrored on both sides. Very, very similar. Rek'Sai going to be taken away from Clearlove here again. And we'll see whether EDG or OMG are going to mix it up. You could imagine EDG more than happy just to ban away the Lulu once more, and we'll see what OMG decide to do.
Yeah, exactly right. You'd think maybe Sejuani has to be taken away here. We've seen a lot of priority put on it. Wasn't banned last time. They were happy to first pick it, but if that's the case, you would think that maybe it joins the ban list.
Yeah, it is going to there as well. Prophet Spawn added again, but it is going to mean that EDG do get the Maokai potentially, as that one is hovered over, of course, was the final ban, I believe, for OMG in the last one. EDG looking at some other options there. We'll see what they actually do decide to lock in, but a Maokai would not be surprising, but Annie definitely a very contentious pick, and they're going to take it away.
Yeah, so Annie picked up there. That's how much emphasis they put on Mako being on the best initiating support. All of Annie's CC instant if you have that flash up. Very flash reliant, but the build that Mako goes with, of course, the Righteous Glory coming through, able to get some added movement speed, so it doesn't even really need the flash all that much. So, like the pickup there. Oh, the
Yorick support.
Yorick jungle. No, Yorick jungle. It's lovely.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I said support. It's because everything that's been an interesting pick has gone into the support role, but Yorick jungle is an actual thing. But Loveling is going to lock away the Nidalee here and go going, taking the Scion there into the top lane.
Yeah, so we'll have to see.
Maybe. Not entirely sure. I mean, it could be a Scion jungle Nidalee mid.
Could be. Probably won't be.
Yep.
As we see, maybe Pawn going to lock into LeBlanc. That's boring. He hasn't had his Talon game yet.
Yeah, where's his Talon game? Where's his other Katarina game?
It's the last game of the season.
You see, he doesn't even have the cheeky grin on his face right now.
No, he's in full tryhard mode.
Oh, so sad. But hasn't locked in his champion just yet. Koro might be able to get the Hecarim one more time. Oh.
Cheeky Grin came through in the Atlas.
Cheeky Grin was definitely there, but it looks like the Sivir's going to be locked in, so the bottom lane again going to be confirmed here by EDG. And Clearlove more than happy just to hop back on that Yeti once more, as Uzi, we'll see what he decides to go with to take into... Oh, don't you play with my heart like that, Uzi. As Zhang thinking about a Thresh maybe for low. See what comes through. Of course, the Maokai is still available. Low could be back on that one if he wants.
Certainly could be. Probably doesn't want to put his 100% win rate on the line for this game. Thresh, very good. Thresh Jinx is a particularly good lane matchup, so wouldn't be surprised to see that one, although Uzi does love to play Vayne. Also loves to play Lucian.
And he's definitely more successful on that Lucian as well. Plays incredibly well using that Light Slinger to really get in as much damage as possible. Able to sort of thread damage from where it shouldn't come from, really. As Mako and Deft thinking about what they want to opt for here. A top laner and a mid laner, please.
They can play the exact same composition if they want.
Yeah, if they feel like it. But it is going to be into a very different lineup here for OMG. Mix-ups all across the board thus far.
Oh, Zed.
Oh my goodness, Deft locks away the Zed here for Pawn, and it is going to be the Shyvana looked at potentially for Koro. We're having a discussion just before. We're thinking about, you know, why take Shyvana when you can take Hecarim and do exactly the same thing and just be better in teamfights. But We'll see whether Koro knows exactly what that is, as Jiang thinking about maybe taking a Cassiopeia into a Zed. And that could definitely be dangerous.
Yeah, it could be dangerous. Cassiopeia does fantastic things against melee mid laners, so I actually think it's a little bit dangerous for Pawn in that matchup, especially at level 2 and 3 as they come through, and that's what he's opted into. The reason I think this time around Shyvana was taken is because of the magic damage. You look down the EDG lineup, not much magic damage has been secured, because Shyvana, without an AD item, is pretty much all magic damage. Smite that Gromp, run into the team fight with Burnout, hit him with your E, which I have no idea what the name is called, and you just do a magic damage.
It's Flame Breath. And you certainly do. And she's got scaling magic damage based off her AD as well. That Burnout, of course, scaling with your AD, able to do a whole lot of extra magic damage. You couple that with the fact that you're taking the Smite. You're going to be building a Cinder Hulk. You might be able to smite yourself away some Gromps as well. That's going to be a heck of a lot of magic damage coming through. And here is what we can see. The Shyvana versus Sion matchup there in the top lane. And Clearlove back on the Nunu yet again against Loveling now, who has picked up the Nidalee. And we need to confirm the fact that Clearlove now has over a 10.0 KDA in the jungle thus far, as Deft heads into this matchup against Uzi. Similar ranges here on these carries, a lot more aggression to be potentially coming through here as Mako back on the Annie again. We have to say this is very dangerous.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I'm adding a caveat to that 10 KDA. It was confirmed by Papa Smithy, so if it's incorrect, please tweet at Papa Smithy. But that seems to be the case. He's finally done it and cracked the 10.
Cracked the 10, of course. If you take just his Lee Sin games, it's a little bit more than that, ladies and gentlemen. Clearlove has had definitely a very good season, but we'll get into this game very, very shortly, and I'm very excited to see exactly what's going to happen here, because I want to see how powerful the Shyvana is in the hands of Koro. And ladies and gentlemen, let's waste no time. Let's hop onto the Rift. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, to the killer whale. I mean, EDG versus OMG for our second matchup of this series. Of course, third of the night and our final day of the first split here of the LPL. Very exciting stuff as Jiang going to be taking the Cassiopeia against the Zed here in the mid lane. It's been a while since we've seen Pawn Zed. I'm very, very excited for it.
Yeah, I'm disappointed.
Because it's not Talon. It's not Talon. It's not Katarina either. I don't know why I'm excited. But I do just like watching Zed be played. And we are going to see Dade on M3 coming up right after this game. Of course, playing for playoff contention here against EDG Gaming.
Everything on the line for M3 coming in. They just need to win one Atlas.
Just one.
Can they sneak it away from EDG, who have looked very good at the moment?
They've looked incredibly strong. Of course, Mata and Dandy just able to ward up the entire map and create these suffocation situations. But let's focus back on the game at hand here, as OMG looking to have a pretty calm start. Both sides, actually, as
lane swap comes through.
Yeah, lane swap is going to be coming down, but of course no one's scouting anything out here. And Loveling is just going to put many, many traps onto these Krugs, and Uzi and Low are just going to try and navigate around this Sentinel and try and take down the little ones, which they are going to do with relative ease, and going to happily die to the Gromp.
Yeah, looked like he could nearly get it done without dying there, but he will die in the end. Of course, he has that smite, which made it look a hell of a lot easier than it normally is as Sion.
Oh, is he going to go and take the blue buff here and keep himself alive with his... But no, he's not. He tried to. Got a few extra auto attacks off there, but Loveling is going to be able to take down this red buff here as well, who's set up a whole lot of traps so that he doesn't take too much damage there.
Yeah, and that's really important as well. We have an invade coming through from Mako. He'll steal this.
He's looking for it here. Oh my goodness, steals away the red buff. Yeah. And I was about to say that's why you don't give Mako Annie, but I think that was just about being in the right place at the right time and had nothing to do with his support pick at all.
Oh, well, it's a ranged support. Probably couldn't be done on anyone. Maybe Thresh could have done it as well.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But now with the red buff, this is going to be horrible.
Frustrating. Poor going.
Yeah, and that Soul Furnace not going to be able to do anything there, as Deft is just going to laugh at him.
Oh.
Didn't even need to use the emote to laugh at him there either. That's just awful. Loveling is going to be able to take away his blue buff, but still level 2 now because, of course, no Sentinels there at all. And this start now for the Nidalee, very dangerous.
Nidalee's fantastic.
Well, not dangerous, but not good.
It's not bad. Nidalee doesn't really care about anything in the early game. She can jungle with nothing.
Well, she doesn't have anything right now apart from a little machete there.
And this is the other thing. You always have to be careful invading Nidalees because they do ridiculous damage. She's probably going to get it. Oh, she does.
Nails it. Don't even worry. This is all about camps going to knock the right people.
Now, in a lot of trouble.
Actually, yeah, level 2 now to the level 3 of Loveling here, and you're exactly right. He's not too worried about anything at all. Lands another spear there as Clearlove's just going to blood ball himself and wander away. The Pounce not going to find him just yet. There's the takedown as going coming around. Decimating smash flashed out of the way up there by Clearlove. And the EDG bottom lane now in the top side of the map going to be able to help him escape to safety. Did manage to get to level 3 at some point there, and Pawn did get control of this lane back.
Yeah, and that was just very bad play coming out of Clearlove there as, Loveling takes some damage there. Going just trying to shove this lane out. He wants to go back and shop. He's got no mana left, but they're going to refreeze it, and there's not really much Loveling can do, unfortunately. So they'll see exactly how they make this one work. But going back to Nooney, very heavy invade coming through. He lost out on the big raptor. There was nothing for him to gain by sticking around. Probably could have just taken a wander back out. But in the end, nearly cost him his life. Definitely cost him his flash at the least. Not a great play.
Not great at all. Double Ruby Crystal being picked up here by Koro. Which is interesting. Just wants to have as much health in this lane as he possibly can. Uzi and Low are going to be pushing this one in, so Koro are going to get a fair bit of farm here now. Already has 19.
We've just gone to 3v2 lane in the top. Unu was up there as well. They're just trying to get rid of it. Seago going actually has a lot of mana regen in there, so he might be able to actually push this one out this time around, although Def going extremely aggressive.
Yeah, just tries to break that shield to stop this wave from getting pushed into the turret.
Well, the freeze is broken, so there was more creeps on the side of EDG for once, so OMG able to finally break that. And wow, Pawn doing work in the mid lane against Xiong's Cassiopeia. We said early game this should go in Xiong's favor. It doesn't seem to be the case.
But he is still winning on farm, I guess. I mean, that's something to say here, but of course, as a ranged versus melee, you're generally going to be able to get those last hits a little bit more safely, and Pawn still with a lot of pressure as far as that damage is concerned, sitting on a few pots as well. And the fast push for OMG, they are going to be able to take down this bottom outer turret. They might even say to tank it up. They are, as Uzi's just going to get a dark passage. They're actually going to almost die, forced to use his heal there, as the tower does eventually fall down, and Koro makes it back in.
So Koro has much more farm than going in the top lane because of that fast push coming through. Now it is tried to be matched by EDG, so they're shoving in extremely heavily. Teleport nearly back available for going though, so he'll be able to, I guess, withstand maybe one more wave, recall, and then go back and might even get the free teleport.
We'll see whether he does get that one, as these minions on very, very low health, and Deft able just to use his boomerang so beautifully to clear out the rest of that wave.
He's going to stick around. No, he teleports. Now teleports into the bottom lane.
Yep, no worries there at all.
That is a huge minion wave down there. Good play coming out of going, making sure he's grabbing everything he can.
Yeah, but he is still 20 CS behind here against the Shyvana, who's managed to navigate this early stage of the game a little bit better here than the Scion. He did manage to pick himself up a Ruby Crystal of his own. Koro now has the boots on top of it, and Clearlove going to be very naughty and take away that Rift Scuttler. Mako dodging out of the way of that spear as Loveling trying to get a little bit of an invade happening. He's spotted by that ward, but they clear it out very, very quickly as this Gromp is going to fall down as well. Loveling taking a bit of damage there as Clearlove's making his way in. They do clear out the ward, and the Dark Passage is going to get the Nidalee to safety. So we've got double ward there with the Raptor Sense. Loveling having a pretty impressive early game. Also has gone that challenging smite there, so... Yeah, Skirmish's Saber. Interesting. Actually opting to go for a tier afterwards as well by the looks of things with that. Oh my goodness, Uzi actually getting stunned up here in the top side of the map. Def taking a piercing light there as well. The Ignite's down onto Uzi. He is definitely on the run. No heal is going to be available at all as Low's going to get stunned up yet again. There's the boomerang, and Def picks up the 2v2 kill. Hits level 6. We'll see whether they manage to get Uzi down. The flash in as well as Deft uses his heal. Doesn't even die to the turret. And oh my goodness, what is with this EDG bottom lane as Loveling can't even find the spear. Deft tries to get into this brush. Sneaky, sneaky. Spear lands. Is he going to get executed? And he is.
Yeah, so what a play coming out of the EDG two-man lane.
Loveling is not impressed.
Not impressed at all, but wow, what can you do against that? Just the outright aggression that comes through from Siva. Annie, they're so good at getting up in your face, and you can't disengage from them. Without heal, they were just sitting ducks.
Yeah, and the fact that Uzi had to use heal, getting that tower on the bottom side, they tried to get the global advantage there as far as the gold is concerned, but probably not even worth the summoner spell now at this stage after conceding a couple of kills there to Deft of all players. Who has fallen down, but of course that is no gold going over to OMG whatsoever. Mako 1-0-1. That's why they put so much priority on this Annie.
Yeah, it certainly is. You saw that was all about the Annie pick once again. With the speed up that comes through from Siva, the hard engage is just so good, and you get multiple stuns out from that spell reel if you start with it up, of course. So they're now zoning away. We'll be able to... Oh, they denied the cannon creep, I believe.
Yeah, and Def just using a perfect spell shield there to stop the Ardent Blaze from doing anything. Of course, doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it just looks fancy.
Get you some mana back.
Damn right it does. He's on a very long cooldown, though. Might be used on a death sentence a little bit more effectively.
No, he just dodges those.
Ah, okay, fair enough. That's not an option that I have, Spawn. I have a different way of thinking about the spell shield. But Def now easily able to throw out this boomerang, get some extra harass now onto Uzi. The extra crit cloak, with that cloak of agility to come through here for Def, but probably would have been better suited as a pickaxe. But my goodness, Clearlove going to spend some time underneath this turret. The ultimate is going to be available. Low's going to fall down as Spawn picks up that kill, heads back out to his death mark as well as Uzi is super dead as EDG pick up another kill in the bottom lane of OMG, and they're getting preyed upon. Mako, though, he's going to go down as Jiang was waiting there with the petrifying gaze. Miasma going to stop Clearlove from coming through that direction as a spear going to land as well. Oh my goodness, Loveling trying to come through as he doesn't manage to pick up the kill. Clearlove is going to flash out of the way, Deft with no summoner spells available at the moment, but still more than happy to continue pushing out this wave, and EDG already with so much pressure.
Yeah, but it's a bot lane of OMG that's getting picked on, and we said yesterday, if there is anyone on OMG that you want to get a little bit unsettled before playoffs, maybe get in his head a little bit before a big game, it might be Uzi, and that seems to be the message here. Repetitively visit his lane, make sure that you're unsettling him, and Uzi, he's having a nightmare of a series yet again.
Yeah, it's an awful time here for the star player in that, well, the top side of the map now, but definitely the bottom lane player is Mako coming around here as well. Koro's in, the flash from Jiang out straight away. Of course, no petrifying gaze, no ability to stop the onslaught of EDG, but that was all just Koro in the right place at the right time, gets a summoner spell.
Yeah, it would have grabbed that summoner spell, so a good map movement there means the fact that they will be able to burn that in the mid lane. Pawn, after getting the early Cutlass, has now gone a pickaxe. Needs to be careful here, is slowed.
Yeah, dodging out of the way of the spears here, uses that Living Shadow in order to get away, and he even manages to get some follow-up harass there onto Jiang.
He's now winning CS in that lane, by the way.
Well, that's what happens when you're sort of forced to roam. Actually, no, of course.
He was the one that went up there.
Yeah, he was in the top lane as well. Actually, that's going to be the Relentless Pursuit being used by Uzi here. Doesn't quite have as much damage, but able to weave those passive auto attacks in, and Deft not able to stand up to it.
Tibbers was just not available there. Otherwise, I'm sure Mako would have made for him pay for dashing forward aggressively there. So both ultimates once again available on EDG's lineup. Let's see if they go for it again. Nunu's back up here.
Yep, Clearlove looking to come in. There's on the hunt as Low in a bit of trouble. Deft is going to use... Oh my gosh, the boomerang's just going to kill him as
I don't even know.
Just going to step away.
Yeah, Low, you're not that far ahead. I'm sorry, my friend.
Yep, but Loveling going to launch himself onto Pawn here. There's the Skirmisher Saber as well as the Ignite down onto Loveling. Pawn looking to try and turn it around. Koro's just going to find him as he hops over the wall. That was despicable work. Uzi's going to die in the top side of the map, and that was so cheeky by Koro.
And everywhere, EDG are just picking up advantage after advantage. 4,000 gold already, Atlas. They've got a turret to equalize that objective. Dragon hasn't even been looked at. Unless you count Koro, who's been quite spectacular around the rift.
Well, they barely even looked at him either. They just jumped into a brush where he was sitting there. It's not really looking at him. Is Koro now going to find himself on the bottom side of the map? And the Decimating Smash going to do some work. But you're exactly right. I mean, man, you wouldn't want to look at this Dragon. He's getting scary.
Certainly is. 1-0-0, 92 CS. You would have to think he's sitting on an absolute truckload of gold, about 2,000 in his pocket right now to go back and buy something with. You'd have to think it's a Cinder Hulk.
Yeah, possibly.
If I'm a gambling man, that's what I'm going for. Not getting good odds on the return, not going to lie.
I'm certainly not. I keep vouching for Ginsu's Rage Blade. It never seems to get built.
Ah, but Pawn, he's got a pickaxe.
He does. And no use for AP whatsoever. Unfortunate, but has completed the Blade of the Ruined King. That's very quick. You have to think that pickaxe probably going to eventually turn into that last Whisper, but you think he wants to go for a Brutalizer a little bit quicker than that?
Yeah, you certainly do. Want to get some cooldown reduction in the build just to make sure that you have your ultimate available as soon as possible. They've already sent him into split push mode, and this was what I was waiting for this comp to do. They've got a good 1-3-1 here. Very hard to dive a Nunu as well as an Annie, and if they catch anyone out of position rotating to one of the split pushes, they've got a lot of CC to be able to make it work. Loveling needs to land some spears to force them off these structures, and he has been having a fairly decent game so far, the jungler, for OMG. So we'll see if he can get it done.
Yeah, and look at all of the wards here on this top side. If you're talking about protecting a split-pushing Zed, he's in Valhalla at the moment.
Yeah, they're not sending anyone to him at all.
He's able to take down the Krugs here as well. Loveling steals away the red buff. They're looking to try and pick up a dragon here as Loveling pounces over the wall, and OMG going to capitalize by the Zed being top lane, but they are going to trade an inner turret for it. I don't know whether that's entirely worth it, as this is the first dragon at 15 minutes into the game. And the only game that we saw with a dragon that took this long was, of course, a game with a Bard and an Evelyn in it. And I'm not sure whether that entirely counts.
No, it does. That was a beautiful game of League of Legends.
It was my favorite game of League of Legends, but I just don't know whether it exactly sits there with the rest of them as far as the seriousness count is concerned. Koro is going to find Uzi here. There's the Ice Blast as well. Skirmisher's Saber going to do some work. The heal looked like it did nothing as Koro just leaps on him there. Going, trying to take care of the Zed, but the wave clear just a little bit too much here by this Zed's Pawn. And Pawn's Zed, my goodness. As low, he's going to find a Death Sentence on a Mako, forces the flash out immediately. This one's taking a lot of damage here in the mid lane. This outer turret is Loveling going to take an Ice Blast there from
Warning shot fired off by Loveling.
Yep, tower going to fall down eventually though, as 8,000 gold has somehow erupted as far as the gold lead is concerned here for EDG, as Loveling now trying to pounce. Oh, fails the flash as well, fails another pounce, and Clearlove gets the kill and just keeps laughing. Look at his little picture down there. That was a horrible, horrible situation there for Loveling.
Yeah, Mako though, he's dead.
He gets exhausted up there as well. As
no, he's not.
Lowe's actually the one taking so much damage. Pawn picks up a kill with the death mark. Finds Going coming around as well. Gets Skirmish Sabered as Uzi looking to try and come through on this one as Death just does so much damage. Pawn eventually goes down to the tanky Scion, but he's pretty low here as Koro and Clearlove, they just want to tank up this turret forever. They're not too worried about it. Dragon's Descent used in a direction that I probably wouldn't have used it in, and continues tanking up the turret. Clearlove going, oh, Benny Hill music, please cue it. Going though is going to eventually find that kill, and we'll see whether OMG can react to this one in a positive way. Loveling finds his way around, sheepishly getting out of the base and misses another spear on to Def. Nice shield to come through, but the heal comes down and it gets turned. How did that even happen? The boomerang comes through as well, and with the constant slows coming from that Ice Blast, EDG turn it once again, and that's just adding insult to injury.
Yeah, it certainly is.
That is the face of a killer, Spawn.
It's getting hard to watch here as EDG are just... They're having some fun now with OMG. And I was always told to not play with your food before you eat it, so...
Yeah. I wasn't ever told that. Shouldn't have to be told that, Spawn. It's just ridiculous, but... starting to lose my mind because I don't know how Deft managed to turn that around. I mean, yeah, they're having fun, but they're having fun with incredible mechanics, turning things around that shouldn't be able to be turned around. That was just ridiculous. Jiang, you're dead.
Not even an ultimate used from either person.
Not an ultimate was had this day. Yep.
So 18 minutes into the game, and I don't want to call a game of League of Legends over before the Nexus explodes. However, this game is over, Atlas. OMG on the ropes. Def's being caught, though.
Yeah, Def does get caught. Loveling manages to pounce over the wall. This could be the turnaround of the game thus far. Able to actually clear out some wards here as well, as the spear does find Clearlove.
That's a max range spear that does nothing to Clearlove.
He's got an Aegis.
He does.
Yeah, 2-0 and 7. He's just making this KDA even larger now. Lovely's going to be able to take away this Gromp, but Pawn, he's going to deathmark him, and that is a most definitely dead Nidalee.
That could be a new skin.
Yeah, the most
definitely dead Nidalee.
To go with the collection of definitely not Udyr and Blitzcrank. I like it. Clear Love not going to find an Ice Blast.
Some pings going out. Coro's found 2 friends.
Yep, Death Sentence going to land, but it's named wrong here at this stage. He's going to get spotted over the wall. Uzi looking to try and get some damage down to the Dragon. Just breathes fire at him. And Clear Love comes around the backside, and Uzi's just going to die. And Going now finds himself in a little bit of a rough situation, but Coro just looks like he has no fear at all, nor does he just care about where he is. He's just standing in that brush, just waiting.
Yeah, exactly right. As they go in on Ji Young, baits out the ultimate.
Deft gets caught by it. The miasma there as well. There's a beautiful channeled ult from Clearlove. C hangs about in there for a little bit longer. Pawn flashes out of this one. Going in a bit of trouble now. Actually, Pawn in a bit of trouble as Going's going to focus in on him. Nice flash over the wall by Mako, but Deft and Pawn eventually going to fall down. Mako wants to get the stun over the wall as EDG looking to try and set something sneaky up. Oh my goodness, I don't know how that spear didn't land as Tib is trying to catch up to Mako. Oh my goodness. Moves like Jagger on this Annie.
He's going to live.
Yep, the pounce is coming through. Roar the Slayer not going to find it either.
Let him be.
Oh my gosh. How does he do it? They don't even get the bear gold as Coro now finds himself with a bunch of friends. Luo's going to fall down. Lovely now in trouble as the red buff is there. Flame Breath, because it's leveled first, does a ridiculous butt ton of damage. And Going just going to get wandered out of the way of, and Coro now just going to spam some emotes.
Yeah, so he's just going to look to go back to base, but Coro, wow. 6-1 and 0. And it's always bad when you lose a game on a champion, then you have to play against it the next game, and you're like, why couldn't I do that?
Yeah, why is he doing more damage? This is silly. And that 0 actually stands for how much he cares about where he is on the map at the moment. Of course, standing in between 3 people, that doesn't matter. He's A-OK with that one. 2-0-9 now for Clearlove as well. 4-3 and 8 for Deft. He's definitely having a fantastic performance. Infinity has Static Shiv completed.
10,000 gold is the difference, Atlas, on the map right now. And you see that means that they can just go wherever they want. It's a 2v5.
Yep, there's the ultimate popped immediately flayed out of that one as well as Deft is going to flash over the wall. Lowe's going to die here at the same time. Going, getting a little bit ignored as Loveling going to take a whole lot of damage. Uzi's going to get ulted as Pawn just going to ignore him now as he's definitely dead. The double kill comes down for Deft as he was probably already going to die to the death mark, but doesn't even matter because Deft just picks up whatever he wants. And EDG just steamrolling this game.
Yeah, poor wave management mean they're not going to get anything else off it. Maybe a Dragon will be picked up on from the back end, but Coro, he's going to walk into that bottom lane, make a beeline for all that farm.
Red Dot Syndrome definitely being picked up here from the top lane. It doesn't have teleport, so it can't immediately pick up the gigantic wave in the top lane as well, which would have been the dream. Loveling heading towards the top side of his map. Of course, not a lot to find there, and it might be Desperation Baron time for OMG. They need to make some sort of move to try and get them back into it.
Oh, Pawn gets nailed.
Oh,
Loveling, go.
He may have been looking somewhere else. Oh, and then fails the shadow over the wall. A bit of an homage to Loveling.
Oh, that's not nice.
Come on, man.
That's not nice. Poor Loveling. He's trying.
He hit him with a beautiful spear just then.
He did.
Yeah.
He's going to get him. Go Loveling.
He's going the other direction now. Spawns are going to come through and clear out these minions as well. Not too bad as he's going to go back and buy the rest of the shop. Deft is going to clear out this mid wave as well. OMG stacking
members.
Up. Oh, Pawn got a little bit greedy
Uzi's
up
revenge.
here. Oh, and he used his shadow as well. There's the scrying orb. Low tries to get in range of that flay. Does have the death mark available, but that is not going to do anything here as Going now going to zone away the rest of EDG who are rotating up. Coro in the bottom side of the map. Mako looking for something. Roar the Slayer doesn't find him. As Clearlove just has the Blood Boil. They can just run around here. And
they've got a quick Baron here, Atlas. No joke, they actually do this ridiculously quickly.
Yeah, of course, Cassiopeia, one of the best Baron-taking mid laners in the game here as well, as Clearlove's coming around, just making his presence known. We'll see whether he can catch up to anything. Oh my goodness, the Tib is in the pit as well. Absolute Zero gets channeled. Death finds his way in. And I think I said death, but that's exactly right here, as well as Loveling going to pounce over the wall. Is he going to be able to take down the Baron? No! He's going to die, and going to fall as well. We'll see whether the passive's going to be able to take it. And no, the Dragon slays the Baron. OMG going to fall down, and it's an ace off the back of Pawn getting caught out.
And 16,000 gold now, the lead for this EDG lineup. And you see Uzi head in hands, doesn't know what he wants to do. Loveling actually decided at one point that he would rather be in the Baron pit with 4 members than out of it with Goro. Because I know which way I would rather die. And wow, what a game. 2-0-17 again coming through for Clear Love. You would think that is the surrender coming through as Death burns some summoner spells in. And oh my god, this EDG lineup